Back in May of this year, May 2019, there was a controversy surrounding the Fine Gael TD Maria Bailey and the fact that she had brought a personal injury claim arising from falling off a swing in a hotel in Dublin. Clearly the controversy at the time arose around the fact that the Fine Gael party, of which she's a member, and the government generally, had given the impression that they were anxious to try to reduce the insurance premiums and so forth for small business owners who were suffering from all sorts of personal injury claims. And clearly and understandably, quite a lot of controversy arose around the Maria Bailey situation and about her particular case. Eventually she withdrew it, and she's obviously suffered since that, insofar as she's been deselected from the Dún Laoghaire ticket, I think it's on, that she's on for the next general election. But at the time, as I say, there was a fair degree of controversy, and I'd been out for a run on a Sunday morning. It was May 2019, and when I came back, I was sweaty and I was wearing a tracksuit top and so forth, but it was at home on a Sunday morning, and I made a video, and I kind of ad-libbed or riffed on a couple of aspects of the personal injury claim. Generally, not her specific case, but general principles that you can draw from her case. And they were that you will not be compensated simply because you have befallen some misfortune or you've been involved in an accident. You must prove negligence. In other words, you must prove that somebody else was responsible for your injury. That goes into the whole question of liability and causation, and essentially whether the other party was negligent or not. And therefore that will give rise to whether the claim, the personal injury action, the legal proceedings will ultimately succeed. But the point I was simply making was that in order to win a personal injury claim, you must prove negligence. You must prove that somebody else was responsible for your injuries, and not just that you were very unfortunate or it was an act of God or a tragic accident or some sort of an accident that simply was unavoidable and nobody was to blame. That was the point I was making, but I made the video anyway, and by any stretch of the imagination and by any measure, it was a very successful video, because I had a look at the data the other day, and today is the 27th of November. So during the week just gone, I have had a look at the data because I was doing something else, and the analytics for that particular video that I made include 3,300 views of the video, 221 hours of watch time. I got 21 new subscribers to my YouTube channel. I had 98.2% likes to dislikes. I had 33 comments. I had 107 likes or thumbs up on YouTube and 2 dislikes or thumbs down. So by any metric, by any measure, these statistics are excellent. And if you make videos and if you make YouTube videos, you'll recognize that they are very good figures. However, ironically, I received an email from a gentleman who contacted me shortly after I published the video back in May. And he was telling me that he did online marketing or video marketing or something of that nature. And he was telling me that my video was very amateurish because obviously I was flushed after having been out exercising. I was only wearing a tracksuit top. I did it in my home office. The lighting wasn't great. The sound wasn't great. And the backdrop was, there was a bookshelf behind me with books that I have read down through the years, thrown on the bookshelf and scattered in an unkempt, untidy sort of a fashion. And what this fellow was telling me was that I shouldn't have made that video, that I made a mistake, that I should have copied a fella in the United States called Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is some sort of a marketing or small business consultant or guru. But this fella was telling me essentially that I should have a sort of a very professional setup. I should be wearing a suit. I should have perfect lighting, perfect sound. I should have a nice backdrop like Dave Ramsey, professional office, panelled, wood panelled shelving, wall-to-wall books, and so on and so forth. But what this expert, this online marketing or this video marketing expert failed to recognize was that there's a huge value in authenticity. There's a huge value in realness or genuineness. There's a huge value in substance over form. In other words, if you are marketing or if you're sharing something with somebody, and if you're positioning yourself as some sort of an expert, and if you want to gain somebody's trust, there's a lot to be said for actually knowing your stuff. There's a lot to be said for substance over form. There's a lot to be said for not being all hat and no cattle, and all gong and no dinner. What I'm saying is, this expert, this video marketing or marketing expert, failed to recognize the value of authenticity and genuineness, and failed to recognize that in building fans, in building subscribers, a guy like me will benefit greatly from time to time from letting the guard down and being real, just keeping it real, as it were, and showing that not just I'm a solicitor and I have an office and I wear a shirt and tie and suit and all the time, but I'm also a real person who goes out on a Sunday morning for a run, who might have some expertise or some useful information to share, and who can do it in a sort of an ad lib or a riff way, and just talk plainly and openly and explain the situation and explain or something useful, some good information. But as I say, what I'm talking about here is the nuances and the subtleties of marketing, that you do not accept that there's one size that fits all, and you do not accept that there is a received wisdom as to how to position yourself or market yourself. And what you can do is you can test and you can analyze and you can tweak yourself, and you can discover that the so-called experts may not be right all of the time, and that there's a lot of authenticity, or a lot of value rather in authenticity. There's a lot of value in keeping it real, and that you don't always need great production values. You don't always need great setup. You don't always need great sound or great lighting. What you do need, though, is substance. What you do need is information or content that's actually valuable to the people that you wish to serve. Hope you find this video useful, and I hope that if you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur or somebody who is starting off or trying to build their business, or even somebody who is already running a business and you're wondering how to do this whole digital marketing or online marketing or video marketing thing, you must, in my view, consider that there is more than one way to skin a cat, and there is the traditional ways. The accepted or received wisdom isn't necessarily going to cut the mustard nowadays in 2019 or 2020, and that there is value in authenticity, there is value in actually delivering substance over form and cattle over hat. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, give it a thumbs up down below, and you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel.